I'm not really trying to show you how to make any particular product. I'm just showing you that if you need to copy something, you can do it with a piece of tin or a piece of copper. This happened to be a product that was made out of inferior materials. It works out in the sun. Ultraviolet gets to it. Really not much sense in buying another one. It won't be made any better. So I decided to make my own out of copper, and I copied the general shape on a piece of plywood. If you have a bigger torch, you can use it. I have these two propane torches. Put the two of them together, get the job done a little faster. You get a piece of copper like this from the mill, it's fairly hard. If you go trying to bend sharp radiuses and that in it, it'll be very difficult to farm and it may crack. So we heat this up with the torch, it's called annealing. We heat it up until it turns black. Keep moving that heat back and forth. Let that black color zone slowly work its way back across the whole sheet. And now it's quite soft. We'll just set that to one side and let it cool off slowly, and we'll be able to work with it. I'm wanting to copy this shape onto the copper. I just trace all the way around the copper. Then I come back and I give myself a little more room. I'll take a snips. I'll cut this out on this outside line. I'll cut out the sheet of copper, and I've notched every place where it's going to bend. Line that up with our farm. Put a couple of clamps on there. And now we just start bending these tabs down to get the copper to lock onto the farm. And you just keep working on those edges. You think is getting a little bit work hardened. You can heat it up on the flame, soften it back up again. And then I'll go over to the disc sander and I'll sand all these edges even. Take it off the farm. We turn the farm over, make one on the other side, and we'll end up with two halves. And when you do this, you got to pay attention, make sure you make a left and a right side. Otherwise, you get to go get another piece of copper. You look at your farm, you want to find something that's about the same radius as your bends. It'll be a lot easier to farm this. I'll mark the square line about where I want that first radius to be. I'm going to use a dowel rod and just bend that up about like so. Make a mark about where I want the next bend to be. Use this piece of plastic pipe. That's pretty close. Keep checking this to see if I'm going in the right direction. Try and keep those bends lined up best possible. You get those pieces shaped, soldering or brazing it together, keeping it square and closing up those seams. That may be another trick. First time I've done this, so we'll see how it goes. And I had a welding shop braze this together. I could have done a better job of farming these. I chose to round the edges over with a round over bit. I thought that would make smoother transition on the copper. I should have left those sharp corner, and these would have been a little easier to braze or solder together. I had a fitting. I traced around the fitting, made this hole a little smaller, cut these edges and bent them up with a pair of pliers. The elbow needed to be closer to this, so I cut off part of the female coupling and made that to where that'll fit on there, like so. Made a hole on the other side, and this time I did the same thing, but I made it so that the fitting would go inside. Brazed it together. This piece will get soldered in there. And I had so much fun making one, I went ahead and made two, a left and a right hand. And then if you want to clean it up, a 50-50 mix of muriatic acid and water, it shines up, looks better.